Hello everyone, my name is Anthony Boy. Today I'm gonna do a oral presentation about tamoxifen, which is one of the topic in the cancer chapter. So what is tamoxifen? It's a drug used to treat and prevent breast cancer in women, and it can also be used to treat the breast cancer in men as well. First, I'm gonna lead you guys to a classification of breast cancer. We have four main different subtypes, which is luminal A, luminal B, the HER2, which stands for the growth factor receptor, and the basal-like. As you can see in the middle of luminal A and luminal B, there's a couple of green and red circles. Those are the steroid hormone, which red is the estrogen hormone, and green is the progesterone hormone. But these actually the receptor that used to bind to the steroid hormone. And you can see that there's a lot of steroid hormone receptor in luminal A and B, which mean that they overexpress. And scientists believe that we can use tamoxifen to treat those tumors in luminal A and luminal B. But when it comes to HER2, the growth factor receptor is more expressed in compared to estrogen and progesterone hormone. So it proves that it's more difficult to treat with tamoxifen or HER2 tumors. Instead, scientists believe we need to use antibody that be able to recognize the growth factor receptor to treat HER2. When it comes to basal line, we can see that there's no estrogen or progesterone hormone there, or even the growth factor receptor HER2. So this means that this is the most difficult tumor to treat with, and the treatment usually consider chemotherapy or radiations. One problem with radiations is in chemotherapy is that they are most likely toxic to both the normal and the cancer cell. So the approach is to approach less toxic treatment as much as possible for those cancer because the growth require a specific hormone. So that's the reason why in the luminal A and luminal B, many breast cancer require estrogen for their growth, and the steroid hormone, such as estrogen, applying the effect by binding to steroid to reset the protein and activate the expression of specific gene. So we cannot really use radiation or chemotherapy to treat the tumor of luminal A and luminal B. So what is tamoxifen again? Is usually, like I said, it usually treat the breast cancer in men and women, but the common brand name in the market is Novadex. So it treats the breast cancer by reducing the occurrence of breast cancer at the high risk for disease and block the steroid hormone receptor at luminal A and B subtype, like I said earlier. It binds to the action receptor and prevent the receptor from being activated. A couple of side effects of tamoxifen is increase the risk of uterine cancer in women. Women can experience irregular period and it can cause harm to baby during pregnancy or breastfeeding. Patient can also experience weight loss, hot flashes, nausea, depressions, headache, constipation, and dry skin. The drug resistance may also arise when using tamoxifen, as we already seen. We know that tumor consist of heterozygote mixture of a cell. So some type of cancer, even a small population of cancer stem cell, can proliferate and grow up very severely. So if the treatment that destroy most of the tumor cell leave behind a small number of cancer stem cell, these stem cells can be enough to regenerate the tumor after the treatment and make it very hard for drug to effectively work. So a little bit about history of tamoxifen. It was first made in 1962 by a female chemist named Doris Jackson. She was trying to make the triphenyl lethylene derivative to develop a contraceptive pills in pharmaceutical laboratory of the British chemical group ICI at Alderley Park in England. But that's the initial purpose, but then she ended up making tamoxifen to treat breast cancer. So the compound was found to be stimulate and rather than suppress the ovulation in women, but they were struggle a little bit in the beginning because they cannot be patented in the United States until 1980s. So the leader of this group, Arthur Walpole, they threatened to resign the project and pass on to work on a different contract, this is where the tamoxifen was generated. And it's not too long right after that. The important turning point of tamoxifen is that it became the best-selling medicine occurs in 1980s, and the result of the clinical trial showed that it was very useful as a adjuvant to other form of therapy in the early stage of the breast cancer. Later on, there more trials demonstrate that it could prevent the occurrence and the reoccurrence in women at high risk for develop breast cancer. So that's why it became the first chemo preventive for any cancer and helping to establish a broader principle for chemo preventions and extend the market for tamoxifen later on. I put a reference of the article source that I found, history of tamoxifen, in the bottom. You can do some research. My question for you guys, as I mentioned a lot about the drug resistance of tamoxifen, it usually has a drug resistant effect in the initial response to breast tumor. So my question is, are there any molecular treatment or symptomatic treatment that can suppress the drug resistance and enhancing the efficiency of the tamoxifen? Thank you.